All right, guys, got another big box from CGC. I think there's 23 books in here. We're gonna go through it and we'll see what we got. Stick around. All right, guys, so we got this big shipment back in from CGC. We're gonna go through each book, talk a little bit about it. I'll be linking the GPA prices down along the bottom here, so check them out. We'll just go through them one by one, do kind of the standard, cover the grade, see what we got. So you guys know me, X-Men books. So this is trying to complete my X-Men. I'm trying to get them all, and CGC graded. It's going to take some time, but picking them off one at a time as I get good ones. So this is X-Men 109. So we've got an 8.5, white pages. This is the first appearance of Weapon Alpha. Not a super key or anything, probably a minor key, but yeah, 8.5 is a good grade on this book. I want to say these are all modern. I'm pretty confident, yeah, because this is 78, so these are all going to be modern books from mid 70s all the way up to like some 90s stuff. So yeah, just stick with it. Let's see what we got. So Sensational Spider-Man number 0. I was hoping for a 9.8 on this. Looks like, yep, we got a 9.8. So this is Ben Reilly becomes Spider-Man, and you might have seen me open this in an earlier video. I went through, I got some raw books, and this was one I sent in. So Ben Reilly does become Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. It's got the you know, I don't know what they call that when you move it back for the lenticular, maybe. It doesn't actually say, yeah, lenticular cover. So I was hoping for a 9.8. I actually thought it was questionable. There's a little wrinkle on the spine, but it's really, really minor. You can't really press this because of this thing. This is almost like glued on to the cover, and the cover's like a cardstock, so there's a little bit of a difference. So it's not a book that you can really press. You can rollerball it a little bit, but other than that, you can't do much. So yeah, getting a 9.8 on that is kind of what I was hoping for, so that's good. I thought it might be a 9.6, but I would have been okay with that. But yeah, glad it's a 9.8. The next one up, for any 90s kid or someone growing up in the 90s, this is a great one. Beavis and Butthead number 1. Looks like 9.8, white pages. So again, came in that same lot with the Sensational Spider-Man. I thought it was pretty crisp. Again, I did not know if this would get a 9.8 or a 9.6, because, and you might even be able to see it, there's a yeah, you probably can't. It's like a crease, pretty good right there on his nose. Again, it's not going to stick out really in the picture you guys have, but it's pretty obvious when you look at the book here. So I'm happy that I got a 9.8. Like I said, I was hopeful for a 9.8, but I wouldn't have been upset if I got a 9.6. I definitely would have understood that. In all honesty, there's a couple little minor things on this that could have kept it from a 9.8, but hey, 9.8's what I'm looking for, so that's good. And you know, Beavis and Butthead, they're kind of making a comeback with the Saturday Night Live thing. If you haven't seen that, it's pretty funny. Yeah, this has there's a new bubble wrap tube things, these things in there, and they're so hard to pull these books out of here. So next one up, X-Men 100. I think I was guessing this was about a 7.0. It might have been a 7.5, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, 8.5. No, I was probably thinking a different book, because it wouldn't have got an 8.5 if I thought it was a 7.0. Yeah, no, actually, I think this was one I thought was going to be a 7.0. There's a few color breaking spine ticks along the spine. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 for sure. It's got a white corner down here. It's got some crunch up here. So yeah, 8.5's kind of surprising. Again, with CGC, especially on modern stuff, it's really hit or miss. Sometimes you'll get a 9.8 on a book you think's a 9.2, and you'll get a 9.2 on a book that you're confident's a 9.8. So modern's a little different. I think their modern graders are probably a little bit less experienced graders. I think their vintage stuff and their high value stuff goes through, you know, the more experienced graders. Again, I'm not complaining. 8.5's good. It's better than anything I have now. Next up, X-Men 97. Maybe this one's probably in the same boat, probably in the 8.0 range is what I was looking at. And 9.2. Yeah. Again, not going to complain about a 9.2. This is the first appearance of Lalandra. She was kind of very big in the cartoon, the original cartoon. I don't think she made an appearance. Yeah, she did in the new cartoon they just put out, the new X-Men. She's in that as well. Again, this book is, yeah, again, surprising to get a 9.2. I'm happy with it. It's got 4 or 5, you know, very obvious spine ticks. It's not a crunch, but in this corner, instead of going like straight across, it almost looks like someone like kind of did that to it. It didn't crunch the corner, it just bent it, so it's got like a curve up on it. Yeah, all in all, again, really happy with that. Haven't seen any of the banana stuff, so that's good. Maybe it looks like they might have fixed that problem. I know someone mentioned that in another video. Or on a comment on another video. I haven't seen that, so in any of the stuff I've been opening lately, so maybe they've gotten it squared away. So I promise these aren't all X-Men books either. So this is X-Men 95. Looks like we got 80 white pages. And yeah, see, this is one I thought would have gotten better than an 80. So I'll have to look at the notes. I know it did have a little like dog ear corner where you could see the color break in it. But honestly, if you look at these two books next to each other, the 8.0 presents much better than the 9.2 does. Visibly, it looks like it has less amounts of like minor dings. It does look like there's a bend up here, that I can see a bend through the case. Definitely concerns me a little bit because I feel like that would be something that probably happened at CGC. I can't remember ever sending a book in that I didn't press first that was pressable. Even if it's brand new off the shelf, I still give it like a quick press before I send it in. So the fact that it has a little bit of a finger bend makes me think maybe they did that when they were flipping through it, assuming they did flip through it and count the pages. But still, 8.0, it's a good book. It's, you know, the second book right after the new team comes out in 94, so it is a more valuable book. It is the third appearance of the new team, which is Colossus, Storm, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. It's the 5th or 4th or 6th appearance of Wolverine. It's also the death of Thunderbird, because no one ever actually dies in comics. They always come back later. Next up, Daredevil 131. This is the first Bullseye. It looks like we got an 8.0 on that. So I'm happy with that. I've struggled with this book my whole... I've sent in 100 of these, and it's a tough one for me to get good grades on. I don't know why I struggle so much. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if this is a tough book. I've seen a lot of them that had a subscription crease, which isn't as common in the 70s as it was in like the 60s. You see a lot of like 12-cent books with that very clear subscription crease. For some reason, this book specifically, I've had several of these that had that subscription crease in it. So this one does not have it. I'm happy with an 8.0. It's still a pretty good, valuable book. It's a big key from a Daredevil perspective too. Next up, so Captain N, the Game Master. I picked this book up in a dollar bin, so anything above like a 9.2 and I'm happy with. So looks like 9.6 white pages. That's good. No real major key to this. Valiant books, if you were a collector in the 90s, Valiant came in strong and burnt down in a blaze of glory. They weren't around a long time. They did a lot of the, I don't know what you like, the Nintendo and the video game comics. So like Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong. They did a lot of that. There's not a whole lot of big keys with Valiant other than the Nintendo stuff. So again, I thought it was just a cool book. Again, it's not huge value, but 9.6 on it's pretty good. And it's hard to find these because so many of them got just trashed. You know, people are like, oh, there's billions of them. So, ooh, is that a little scuff? Yeah, I thought it might have a crack in it, but no, just a little scuff. So yeah, just more of a, hey, I was around when that came out new in 1990. So this is a really good book because this is our next giveaway book. We're going to be giving this away. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. You should have seen it in the last video. I know because I got this one up ahead of time and knew this was going to be my giveaway. So Superhero Secret Wars 8.5 white pages. So if you don't know this book, the prominence of this book is it's the first time the black suit. It tells you how that came to be. You know, Spider-Man, I think it's like a little goop. He's in space during the Secret Wars. A little piece of goop gets on his skin. Later on becomes Venom. It's the symbiote that becomes Venom. So it's a pretty big key from that era for sure. A very nostalgic cover. The actual page, the original artwork for this book, that was that page of the goop dropping on his hand, sold at auction. I want to say earlier this year for like $3.5 million, just one piece of artwork. So pretty prominent part of comic book history, especially when it relates to Spider-Man. It's kind of, we'll see if it plays a role in the Secret Wars movies that are going to come out. I can't imagine they won't touch on that portion of Spider-Man. They did try to in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but they didn't do the best job with it. So hopefully the MCU, they can make it a little better. But he's a pretty key, important character in the Secret Wars. So if they base it off this at all, I gotta imagine that's going to be part of the story. So again, that's a giveaway. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give that away to one of you guys. So yeah, it's free. All you gotta do is, you know, put some notes down there. So Incredible Hulk 340, this is a pretty iconic cover. 7.0 white pages. Yeah, I didn't expect this to be a high grade book. It's got a lot of spine ticks. They're all minor, but there's just a bunch of them, so they add up. So pretty noticeable cover. McFarlane did the cover. He was real big with bringing the Gray Hulk back. But yeah, it's just a cool cover. It's been done 1,000 times over in different homage covers with different characters, with, you know, but the blades, they even did a little homage to that in the Deadpool movie, the most recent Deadpool Wolverine movie. In one of the Wolverine variants, it was that image. So it's a cool book. It's always been a cool cover. I mean, I remember seeing it, you know, when I think I was 10 or 11 when that came out. I remember seeing the newsstand. I was like, oh, that's so cool. My copy is shredded though. My original, if it, you know, it's in one of my bins of, yeah, not so good books. This one I got recently, and again in a big lot I got from Heritage. Next book up, this is a new one, Amazing Spider-Man 53. This is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive cover. They only made 3,000 of these, so 9.8 white pages. That's good. This is from the previews, Marvel Previews PX, but you can only get these at San Diego, I think. So it's just a virgin sketch cover of the newest run of ASM number 53. So again, you know, nice. There's only 3,000 of them, and I got one in a 9.8. So I don't know if there's any 9.9s or 10s. I haven't looked at the census, but I'll probably check that out once I'm done. Another San Diego Comic-Con exclusive PX previews edition, limited to 3,000. This is an X-Men one from the most recent 2024 series. So 9.8 white pages. Again, it's a sketch cover. It's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So yeah, just cool cover. It's a virgin cover. There's no trade dress on it at all. So yeah, and you know, I'm an X-Men guy, so hey, a cool X-Men book. I hate magic. I think that's one of the most boring characters ever, but yeah, but she's on the cover. I do like the Magneto on the cover. I'm old school. I like all the old costumes. I don't like any of the new stuff. I don't like the flashy stuff. So this is the Red Band Wolverine Revenge 1. So this is the one with the blood and the exclusive, or the explicit content inside. So 9.8 white pages. So again, I just like the book. Probably not real valuable. I'm guessing it's a $45, $50 book. I did have to take the bag off, and it does usually have a bag line on the back of these that you have to press out. Probably the most notorious book for that is Ultimate Fallout 4, the first Miles Morales. Those were all polybagged, and a lot of them have that line in the back. Sometimes it actually scratches into the cover, and you can't get rid of that. But if you stack like 5 or 6 of them together, you get a little indentation along it. So this one, I took it out of the bag as soon as I got it and gave it a quick press, and yeah, got a 9.8. So all right, next up in the lot, all these things, these plastic wrap things they have, I just hate them. Batman Beyond the White Knight. So I got this at C2E2, I think it was C2E2 for like, it was in a 50-cent bin. So 9.8 white pages. Yeah, that's pretty good. So a buddy of mine actually had a booth set up. Was it C2E2? It might have been the other con. So he had a booth set up, and it was right next to his booth, and he was like, oh man, so he sent his kid over to go through it, and I don't know if there's any more, but I got this for 50 cents, so yeah, not bad. Batman Beyond the White Knight #1, so yeah, it's kind of cool little book, and for 50 cents plus grading fees, that's not bad at all. I mean, the sticker price on it's like $4 new, so even then I got a deal, right? All right, next up, Flash 324. This is a unique one. We'll go over what's unique about it in a minute. You do see it's a newsstand, but 9.6 white pages. So this is the death of Reverse Flash. It's the death again. No one's ever dead for good. This is actually the Canadian price variant. So it has the 75 cents price tag on it. I think the US ones were 65 cents. So I got these again in a lot from Heritage. So kind of a minor key for the death of Reverse Flash. So and it's not so common to get the Canadian ones. My guess is that there's probably maybe 2 or 3 9/8s in this, and probably 2 or 3 9/6s. So it's pretty high on the census as far as, and you don't see a lot of DC comics from me either. So that you've got a couple there in a row. But yeah, Canadian price variant Flash 324. There should be another Flash Canadian version. So X-Men 60. This isn't the original. This is the J.C. Penney reprint. So we got an 8.5 white pages. These came from J.C. Penney store. I don't know how you got them. They came out in the early 90s, and there was not a J.C. Penney where I grew up at. But it's basically the exact same, other than some of the ads, as X-Men 60. You know, it even says 15 cents, but I think they sold it in like a pack. So I got a couple of these here, and again, I'm a completionist, so I'm trying to get like every version of every X-Men book. You know, the Mark Jewelers, the Canadian price variants, the Australian, the UK. So this was one I didn't have. Picked it up, 8.5. You don't see a lot of these. They're really hard to find. So I'm happy with an 8.5. I would have liked to have a higher grade, but it's just not a higher grade copy. And I've only seen a couple of these ever. You never see them in the wild, really. So I think I got a 61 in here as well. Yeah, here's the next one, X-Men 61. I think this one was a little bit better grade than that one. So yeah, this one's a 9 too. Again, it's a J.C. Penney variant. I think the two of these came together when you bought them. But again, I don't know all the details of how the J.C. Penney ones worked. And you know, that it came from a department store, you can see it's probably hard to find a 9.8 just because kids, when he went to little kids, or you know, it wouldn't be a comic book fan buying it. It would more be like an X-Men, a kid that was into the X-Men in the 90s, like, ooh, I want that comic book. And, you know, bugging their parents, and their parents, like, buy it for them just to get them to be quiet. I was that kid, so I know that kid. But yeah, at 9.2 on that, I'm happy. The 60 is the first appearance of Sauron in the original X-Men run. This is obviously a reprint, but it does tell the same story. So next up, yeah, here's the other one. This is Flash 323. This is the Canadian price variant again. So 9.2, happy with that. This is Flash versus Reverse Flash race. Again, it's a 75-cent price versus the standard US version was 65 cents. So yeah, happy with the 9.2. I knew they weren't high grade, but again, you don't see too many Canadian variants of that. Those will probably go. I'll probably sell those. Amazing Spider-Man 238. So this is kind of a key book. 8.5 white pages. So this is the first appearance of the Hobgoblin. What's tough on this one, if you're not familiar, is this comes with the lakeside tattoos inside of it. So right underneath this cover, like right in here, and on the back in the same area, like right here, underneath the cover but between the book, there's a tattoo packet that you can tear open and take a tattoo out, and a kid would get it and put the tattoo on. This actually has the tattoos in it. A lot of these don't have the tattoos. It's actually really easy to get other books that aren't valuable that have those tattoos and put them into these. You just have to pull out the staple, and you don't usually get dinged for that. It's kind of a weird one. You can take the tattoos from another book. They're very square in here. When you open the book up, it's very square to the top in here. But I've seen some that I've had that I'm pretty sure someone else replaced, and the tattoo goes like this. And CGC would absolutely know that that wasn't original tattoos, but they still give it a blue label. I've replaced a couple of these and still gotten blue labels. I don't think they frown on that because it's not actually part of the book. It's something that got removed from the book. You can usually tell too, because if the tattoos have been removed, there's a lot of a lot of stress around this staple specifically, because that's what holds it in. So if you got a whole bunch of color breaking spine ticks at this staple and this one's nice and clean, it's either a replaced tattoo or the tattoos are missing. If you ever buy this in the wild, definitely open it up and make sure it has the tattoos, because it's a huge value change with and without the tattoos. Next up, 252, again, iconic cover. This is the homage to the Amazing Fantasy 15, the original first appearance of Spider-Man. So this is an 8.0 white pages. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Again, it's not, I knew it wasn't a high grade book. It's got some tears at the top staple. There's some spine ticks on the black on the back. It's got the cool Commodore 64 Frogger back. It had a Commodore 64 and it had Frogger. That's how old I am. So yeah, so an 8.0 on this. And this is the first appearance of the black costume. It actually happened before the Secret Wars 8 where he gets infected with it, which is odd, but it had to do with like when they released them. This actually released before Secret Wars 8. There's a lot of controversy on, is it the first in one of those questionable first appearances, because this actually came out at the same time as Marvel Team Up 141, which also shows him in the black suit, but for whatever reason this is kind of the recognized as the first appearance of the black suit. So yeah, and I was expecting, you know, somewhere in the 7585 range, so 80s. I'm not upset with that. It's got some staining, some water staining down on the, you can actually see it, it's on the logo. I think you can see it there in the camera. It's right in the corner. There's like a tide line. You can see it on the back as well. I hate trying to show these on the camera. I apologize if you guys are like, oh man, this idiot's trying to shove these on the camera again and he can't see them. So yeah, anyways, there's a stain here and here. It looks like it got wet and kind of soaked up in. I tried to get rid of it. I couldn't really do much with it. It's hard to do. There's also a little crunch on this corner and some spine ticks. So an 8.0, it's still a solid book. White pages is pretty nice on that because it's a 40-year-old book. It's not as easy to get white pages on those books. So it's usually an off-white to white. So having white pages is nice. Next up, Batman 386. Again, it's not going to be a 9.8, I don't think, but 9.4, that's pretty good. So this is the first appearance of a Black Mask. It's mid-80s book. It's always a cool cover. I've seen a lot of them too. You can see it's like, it's a little bit miswrapped almost. You can see where the line for the, like the front cover goes down here. And you can see all this back, all that you can see on the edge is actually part of the Acne ad for this, whatever this Acne, what, Noxzema, for people who got pimple problems when they're kids. I've seen a lot of them that have that, and I don't know why. It actually usually helps the book though, because a lot of times when this line is right on where it should be on the end, you get a lot more visible spine ticks. This doesn't actually, they don't show up as well on this as they do on the yellow and the black line, and you don't get them as tight. They're easier just to kind of not be color breaking. So I'd say probably a mid-key Batman 386, first appearance of the Black Mask. All right, we got two left. Deadpool Team Up #1. This is a photo variant cover. I just thought this was a cool cover. For no other reason than that, I had it graded. I just really like it. I like Deadpool. I remember when it came out. I thought it was cool. So what we get? 9.8 white pages. Yeah, I would be disappointed if it wasn't 9.8 white pages, just because it's a brand new book, and I usually don't send in brand new books unless I know they're solid. 9.8 white pages. It's got the photo picture from the movie in it. It's got the cool on the back. It's got the ad for the movie. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So yeah, Deadpool Team Up #1, 9.8 white pages. And the last book up, Superior Iron Man #1. I got this book for $1.50 at a local comic book convention. So 9.8 white pages. I'm happy with that. Again, not a major key. It is a interesting first appearance. They thought that this might be the Iron Man that was going to be in Multiverse of Madness. They talked about possibly Tom Cruise would be the superior Iron Man, but yeah, it's a not a key, but it's an important book. It's the first superior Iron Man book. Again, not like important like first appearance stuff. It's just it's a book worth having. I like it. I'm glad it's a 9.8. I would have been disappointed if it was a 9.6 or 9.4. I did think it had a chance, but glad it got the 9.8 white pages. So that's it, guys. That's all we got. Hope you guys liked what you saw. Again, I'm giving away that 8.5 Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 8. So it's a pretty good key book. You know, it's got a decent value. If you rewind back in I guess you don't rewind. If you slide the little dot back in the middle of this video, you'll see that book. It'll tell you the current value of it, the GPA analysis, 90-day average. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for getting us to 500, guys. Let's push on up to 1,000. I'm really enjoying doing it. Hopefully I can get some more cool stuff to give away as we move on up. And thanks again for stopping by. We'll catch you guys next time. See ya.